today we're with the 240SX. Currently, we're gonna button up a few things before we finally put the motor back in, which will be a few more days, but it's getting so close. What we're gonna be doing today is installing a solid steering rack bushing. So we're gonna take the old rubber, sloppy feeling bushing out. We're gonna replace it with something solid to give us really good steering feedback. We're also gonna try to install some gauges on a 8-pillar pod, so I'll show you guys how I go through all of that. Would you just look at her though? Slowly been waiting since beginning of August. I haven't even seen Carol since probably about the beginning of August. I know it's pretty dark back here, but I'm so excited just to see her. You have no idea. But let's go ahead and get going with all this. First step in the process is removing the hood. So as I said before, we're installing a solid steering bushing. Now what is a solid steering bushing? A solid steering bushing is this guy right here. So the part that's in the car right now looks exactly like this, only it's made of rubber that flexes a lot, and that's what gives you a comfortable but sloppy feel in your steering. So we're going to be replacing that guy with this right here, and I'll show you guys how to do that on this 240SX. Alright guys, so the steering bushing that we're going to be replacing is all the way up here in the middle of the firewall. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this steering shaft off so that we can gain access to the steering bushing. So first things first is I'm going to mark where the steering shaft is on the steering column. That way when I put it all back together, I know exactly where it's at. That way my steering wheel's not out of whack when I go to put it back in. So as I said, we're going to take this steering column off first. You're going to need a few different sizes. Of course, when you're working on these Japanese cars, really the only big ones you need are 8mm, 10mm, 12mm, 14mm, and 17mm. Those are the most common sizes you'll ever need to work on your car. So I'm going to give you kind of a first-person perspective of taking this bushing apart. Let me know what you think of it. You'll need a 14 on the bushing itself. Alright guys, this is going to be a lot harder than I expected. I've got some of the nuts off on the steering bush, but I've ended up having to drop the cross member a little bit just to see if I can get some clearance from the power steering rack, just to kind of give me some clearance so that I can get that shaft out. Alright guys, so like I said before, I have to drop the cross member just so I can give myself a little more clearance with the steering rack. Otherwise, there's no way I'm gonna get it out. So right now I'm trying to drop the cross member carefully. So far I have two of the bolts out from what holds the cross member in. They're 17mm bolts, and there's only 2 of them on each side of on each frame rail, so got one set done. Alright guys, I got both sets of nuts off the cross member, so we're gonna see if we can drop this thing down. Currently I have a jack holding in my cross member so it doesn't fall. Ow! That hurt. And we got it. Okay. So now we gotta take this guy off. So when you initially start taking the bolts off this guy to remove them from your steering wheel or your firewall, don't try to undo these bolts. These aren't supposed to come off, they're supposed to stay inside, so don't be an idiot and try to take that off like I did and start stripping it. You're only supposed to take off these nuts here. So I got the underside off, now we're gonna work on taking these guys off. It is so hot. I got one loose. And we got two loose. The steering feel better be worth it. Ow! That was burning hot. And when you try to take old bolts off, try to spray them with BB blaster. Try to loosen them up again. If you don't, they'll probably start to heat up and get really hot, like mine are right now. So, be smart. Don't get in a rush like I am. Alright. So this is our old guy. Let's see if we can get a comparison with the other one. Alright, so as we start to take this guy out, we're gonna have to reuse these fittings here, so careful not to lose them. Alright, so as you can see here, we have the old bushing. It's rubber, so you've got all that play for kind of slopping your steering. Although this may be comfortable, it's not going to give you the best steering feedback through your steering wheel. So we're upgrading to this solid metal piece from diff. Really solid, really going to give you really great feedback. It might give you a little vibration, but you sacrifice that for better performance. So you'll also have to reuse these guys. This is exact machine cut, so the best way to do it is to press these guys in. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hammer them in. So we'll see how much success I have with that. Actually, I don't even have to hammer these in. Shout out to Exact Specs. Look at that. It's too easy. Whoa. Don't do that. Found it. Alright, so since this guy is machined out to exact spec, we're not going to need to reuse these brackets here. These come with your rubber bushing spacers, so this is what kind of keeps everything solid, at least a little bit together. You're not going to need these guys for the metal bushing, so let's go ahead and put this guy back in. Whoopsie daisy. Alright guys, so we have the solid bushing in. Now we're just going to put this guy back in the same way it came out. So before you decide to bolt everything back up, make sure you put the nuts back onto the top side of the power steering, or the solid steering bush. So once you go to put it on, you're going to find that you have some bolts missing, and you're not going to want that. So just make sure you put these guys back on. Monica! Found it. Let's try this again. Alright guys, so in this step, it's pretty crucial that you have your steering wheel set straight and your wheels are set straight, because if you go to put this back in and if everything's out of line, you're going to kick yourself because you're going to have to tear it out and do it all over again. Or maybe there's a way that you can just readjust the steering wheel. If there is, let me know in the comments below. Step 2. Step whatever. Jack the cross member back up so you can get that everything buttoned up and back into place. Now that the cross member is in place, we're going to go ahead and bolt up the rest of the nuts on the steering bushing. Last step is to screw in the bottom nuts for our solid steering bush. Final step, don't forget to tighten up your cross member when you're done. So we got the solid steering bushing in. It was took a little longer than I wanted it to. It took a little longer than it should have. But it's in, and I'm pretty excited to see how that steering will kind of be different when I start driving it. So if you have any more questions, or if you know a way that could have gone easier, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.